Hey, Coach. So glad you found the video. Couple things. First of all, make sure you subscribe and like. Second thing, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Let me show you how to put a roadmap and become a nationally ranked coach. I've done it for 30 plus years. Let me help you do that over at teachhoops.com. Let's head off to the video.
All right, so we're going to talk about building defense. And of course, at every level, it's different. At our level, defense is heavy scouting. But I might be preaching to a crowd that does not know who they're playing before they get into the gym. You might just be able to go on PSAL and see numbers that are probably not wrong. There's some team out there averaging 100 assists and 50 points. Crazy, right? So we're going to talk about building defense. The number one thing about practice in our program is practice has to be work. It has to be work. Everybody has to embrace that. Coaches, assistant coaches, managers, players, has to be work. But also in the same token, practice has to be the best 2 hours of the day. So it's non-negotiable. It has to work, it has to be work, it has to be difficult, but it has to be the most fun and best 2 hours of the day. However you want to do it. These kids have to love coming to the gym. You have to kick them out the gym. Our gym is open more than maybe you have access in your high school or your middle school, so they can get in whenever they want, but a lot of your kids can't. And a lot of your kids, that's the only refuge they have is the gym. So please do not make that a place where they have angst about going to. We all make mistakes. We have to be the first ones to say, my bad, I made a mistake. I just sent my group a text message on Friday. We had our first competition. We have a lot of new guys. I was coaching a team. I was losing throughout the whole entire day. My competitiveness got the best of me of what we were teaching. And I lost my shit in practice. And I went home, I thought about it the whole day. The next day I woke up, I sent him a long text message and said, I messed up. We're talking about teaching. As soon as we got into a competitive situation, I lost it because I wanted to compete so bad. Just a little backstory about me. I was the interim AD for the last 18 months. For anybody who thinks about doing administration, just make sure you want to do that, because that joint sucked, all right? Didn't like that at all. So I love that I'm back in coaching. You have to have specific goals for your practice. You can't just be practicing. And our goals are based on what time of the year it is and what day it is. So right now we're in preseason. So what's our goals? Number one is to go over our base defense, base scheme for everything. To set out non-negotiables for when we start practice on Saturday. Another goal is to make sure that we're getting a lot of reps. I cannot get in the way of the practice by having my voice be the main thing of practice. We have to get as many reps as possible. We also film practice. I know that's an advantage for us. Top day of the week. On Fridays, we're off on Saturdays and Sundays. So Fridays is non-negotiable. It's probably the hardest day. Why? They have 2 days off. So if you know you have a day off the next day, I don't care how you're feeling, it's non-negotiable, it's gonna be a hard day. Now, if we're in the middle of the season, it may be different. We have green, yellow, and red days. Red days, my older guys come up to me, Coach, I played 38 minutes yesterday, we have a game in 2 days, my legs are dead. All right, so we won't compete at all. We'll move around for an hour or so, we'll go through things, but we're not gonna do a lot of hard stuff. Yellow days, we'll do some hard competing, but it won't be a lot of reps. So we might be 10 to 20 minutes of competing. We're gonna compete very hard. We have to compete, we have to go over things, but it's not gonna be a lot. Green days, anything goes. We might be in that joint for 3 hours. Everybody's fresh, let's get what we have to do, and let's do it. But you gotta listen to your older guys, so girls. You have to listen to them. If they tell you, you have to trust that they're not trying to just get out of a hard practice. And you gotta give and take it. Like I said, right now we're in preseason. So base scheme, compete every day, and try shit. Who coaches high school? So who has, if you coach high school, who has summer league games or fall league games? So too much emphasis, in my opinion, is based on did we win or not? And not enough on are we allowing my team as a team to try shit? And are we allowing our players to try shit? So we have a 6'8" center. He's big. I made a rule the other day. He wears glasses in practice. I told him, it's got to be goggles with context. I can't watch glasses anymore. I feel like you're going to get picked last if you go to the park. You can't wear glasses in practice. So he's as big and as doofy as I'm describing him to be. He, when he gets a rebound, is allowed right now to dribble down the court and to go make a play. Until he can prove to me that he cannot do it. Now, to tell you the truth, he has proven to me over the preseason that he cannot do it. On Saturday, stop trying shit, can't do it no more, right? But isn't it an advantage if I have a 6'8" kid with goggles, glasses, and contacts that can dribble down the court, because that's how the fast break gets started a lot easier. So maybe he can't do it this year. We'll go back to it in the postseason. But maybe he can do it next year. That makes the team better. But so many times I watch a lot of high school fall league games or summer games. You guys play so many games. And the score matters. And you don't know if your 6'2" center, right, that's going to play point guard for me, can dribble the basketball because you want to win a Gersh League game or you want to win a St. Thomas game. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's my opinion. So you got to, in the preseason, you got to trust you. How do we get more reps? Okay, we go 5 possessions at a time in the half court. So offense gets 5 possessions, and then we flip it, and then the other team gets 5 possessions. We do not sub in between. So I do not stop. We have clear constraints over what we do when we have 5 possessions. So we may say 5 possessions, no handoffs, no ball screens. Very clear. Don't come set a ball screen on offense, don't hand off. So it's a lot of pass and cut. Instead of telling people to cut, they have no option. They can't hand off and they can't ball screen. So they know. Constraints make everything go quicker. We have everybody who's on the side. So if you're a coach, an assistant coach, a manager, you have a basketball. Does anybody know why you have a basketball on the side? What's up? What's your name? Byron, what's up, Byron? Coach Citizen. Yeah, so we practice in a gym that's big. Bleachers are in. How many times somebody throws, it's like we're playing dodgeball, right? Somebody throws the ball, goes rolling the way down there. It takes 10 seconds for somebody to go get it and then come back. No, we got 14 balls on the side. Just throw the next ball in and let's go. That saves time. We need reps. If we have a 10-minute segment, we're trying to get 50 reps, even if it's impossible. 50 reps, because the kids, especially at this age, are going to learn more from doing it more. They all grew up with an iPad, a cell phone. They do not, maybe 10% of what I tell them, they're gonna understand. They have to do it and they have to see it. And if you can't film practice, try to show them a clip that you've seen on YouTube, because they'll get that to their phone and they'll watch that. Much better than whatever I'm saying, no matter how much you think that you know. Okay? Coaches and managers have evolved. Subs are predetermined. We don't sub out of frustration in practice. If I sub you out of frustration in practice, you're jacking everything up and you can't practice. That's one of our kids right now. He's a senior. He's a senior. We're doing something new. He can't get it. He can't practice. Every beginning of each practice, he's allowed to come in. If he messes up multiple times, he's out. Out for the rest of practice. Can't practice. I don't have time to teach guys at our level what to do when they should know what they're doing. They're slowing it up. I don't have time to teach you. Come up to my office and let's try to walk through, stay after practice, but not during practice. Can't do that. Subs are predetermined. So we go 5 possessions offense, switch, 5 possessions. Now you sub. Or we go 5, 5, 5, 5, and then now you sub. So with that, how do we make corrections? Well, if there's a team correction, there's a whistle. Clear whistle. Because I don't like coaching with a whistle, because guys need to get used to my voice. So if there's a team correction, whistle, everybody stop moving, correction. If there's an individual correction, sub them. Wait till they're sub. So when we go with the subs, pull that kid out and go talk to that kid on the side. Because individual corrections slow down our practice and we can't have time to get reps. Name. Nice to meet you. TJ too.
You allow your assistant coaches to stay in the power and hold out one kid out?
That's a great question. If you ever see me speak here, I think the last time I came here before COVID, I talked about empowering assistant coaches.
Right.
So if you have assistant coaches that you don't let coach in practice, fire them. That's the point. They're not going to get better. They're not going to help you during the game, and the kids see that. That's the most important thing. So now you want, while you're coaching the game and managing a million things, because I see the game much better as an assistant coach than I ever do as a head coach. Why? Not worried about refs, not worried about subs, not worried about body language. I'm just worried about coaching the game. I see it so much better as an assistant coach. So you need your assistant coaches to do that, right? Now, if your assistant coach hasn't said nothing the whole entire year, and you tell your assistant coach when the kid comes out with bad body language, go talk to him. You think he's going to respect him? He hasn't said nothing the whole practice. He knows you don't know anything, or he thinks you don't know anything. So they have to. They all have a whistle and they can all say something. Name. Steve, what's up, Steve? Yeah, that's a great question. So the difference between a team correction and a player correction. A player correction is something that kid is making because he's that kid. It's something that he needs to grow on. It could be something that everybody needs to work on, but my main ball handler needs a lot of different corrections than the rest of the team because he's getting a lot of different ball screen reads and all that. I don't need to go over ball screen reads with the other 3 guys on the court besides the big. They're not getting those reps. So that's a player correction. A team correction is something that happened, defense, I'm talking about defense, that everybody needs to know because they could be in that spot. So something that affects everybody. If it just affects you, sub. If we can't quickly tell them in buzzwords, we have to coach in buzzwords. You try to coach in sentences, it's not going to work. You got to try to make all your commands 1 syllable. Impossible. Because you got to be able to say it 3 times, right? I don't like saying under, 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 under. You could have said down, 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 down 6 times. The same time you said under. So I think that's important. Good question. Get the hell out of the way of your practice. So I let the teams huddle in practice. So after 5 and 5, they huddle at the top, they huddle at the bottom. There is no coach anywhere to be found in those huddles. And sometimes when I feel like kids aren't leading enough, the kids, 1 kid talks in the huddle. We do shell drill, silent shell. 1 kid talks in the shell. You want to tell a kid to talk more? Do shell drill and have 1 kid talk. And you'll see how much they are or are not talking because nobody's allowed to talk. So I think that's important. And I spend an hour to an hour and a half on an hour practice, to plan the practice. Because I want to make sure everybody in that practice knows where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do in there. Who's on what teams, what the manager is doing, where the assistant coach is standing, what's the game rules, what's the shot clock on. That we can't take time to say, 20-second shot clock. No, 15. That's wasting time. Okay, we have 20 hours with the guys a week. Right now we have 8. I cannot waste 1 minute. Cannot waste 1 minute. Okay?
So I agree with you.
It's on my way.
I love you training on the road. I love getting you mentioned guys, leaders, and you can't stop for everything, full individual players. What about when the practice is getting dirty or when it's getting slow it down, or you let the guys fix that?
Great question. So it depends on a lot of things. I can't give you one answer. So right now I do not have a veteran team. So when it gets real messy, I become the Messiah. That's it. I'm the Nino, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Stop. I'm the best. Everybody shut up. We're doing this. I sort them down. If you have a veteran team, so next year, everybody's basically coming back. I will let them try to figure that out. But then it also comes to what time of the year you're in. Right now, I need to make sure they know. So I need to stop them. But during the season, because in the game, I don't like to use my timeouts. We have a lot of media timeouts. We need timeouts for the end of game situations. So I try to save my timeouts. So we need them to figure that out in the best way possible. I can save them a lot of different ways, but coaches, good coaches need to be worth 6 points. So for me to save them, I need to make sure it is a great opportunity for me to save them, and we need to practice that way. So guys hit 3 threes in a row. Right? They score, Jim's going crazy. What are your kids doing? They're looking at the bench. They're looking for you to call timeout. My guys know probably before I call timeout, this is a spot calling timeout because of this. Not because of how it happened, or not because of what happened, but because of how it happened. So I've called timeouts in a college game, the first play of the game. Somebody blew by somebody, there was no help, they missed the layup, and I've called timeout. Because, fellas, if we're going to do that, we're never going to win. So that timeout now becomes the most important thing. I've had games where I've never called a timeout. I don't really believe in that, but not that they've done everything right, but we've had some, maybe we're up by 20, and there's some low impact for them to fix it. So that's another thing, too, while I'm on it. If you have your end of the bench guys in the games, don't sit down. And if you sit down during the games, stand up when they get in, because those kids realize that. They think you're not coaching them at the end of the game. So the most excited that you'll see me during the game is when our guys at the end of the bench get in. Because they need to know that I'm still working for them. They have to because they work for us every day. Good question. So when we're talking about, so I need some of the guys, these guys are good, okay? Right now we're in Inception mode. Inception, anybody see the movie Inception? It's one of my favorite movies, all right? If not, the concept is dream within a dream. And so basically I am putting an idea into their head and changing everything that they're doing right now. So with inception, we talk about, are you willing to look stupid if you know it's going to make you better? Okay? And I'll show you some of our inception drills and how they go into our defensive micro skills. Guys, let me get 4 guys out here. 4. That's all right. We got 5. All right, cool. It's all good. All right? Name? Shane, Coach this. Ronnie, Coach this. Nice to meet you, Coach this. All right. So right now, I want you to spread out a little bit. Okay? I want you to get in a fighter stance. You all righty? All right? Yeah? Oh, you probably, he's definitely been suspended from school a couple times, right? He said you want to fight? So, I want you to get in a right-handed fighter stance. Right-handed. So, left foot front. Left, your lefty. All right, put the right foot in front. Okay? And put your hands up like you're going to fight. All right? When I say go, you're just going to get on your feet, throw some hard punches, and jab. But you got to stay in the fighting stance, and you got to move around the circle. Okay? Ready? Has no idea what he's doing. I don't care. Ready? Go. No, don't punch nobody. Good. Back and forth. Move around in space. Good. Now switch. If you're righty, go lefty. If you're lefty, go righty. Okay, stop. So we do this almost every day. Does anybody know why? Just in case we play Charles Oakley. No. Does anybody know why we do this every day? Footwork? Defensive footwork. Yes, but what type of defensive footwork? Balance is important. Right? Balance is important. You see guys when we do this, they're throwing haymakers and they're getting off balance. It's kind of like defending. If you reach too much, you're off balance. So how do you get yourself back on balance? But the most important reason why we do this is for stunting. So we have a rule in the corner, strong side corner, there is no help. But we don't hug the corner. So come here real quick. Okay? So if the ball's in the slot, it's not your responsibility to help. It's the low man's responsibility to help. But we call it 60-100. You got to be 60% of the way there, but 100% committed to staying here. Okay? So what does a stunt look like? A lot of times when you do stunt or help, a lot of guys do this. They slide like 2 steps in, right? And then they get back. Well, in college, if you get caught on the way in, that is, somebody's hitting that at a 40% clip, a 50% clip. You can't do that. So you actually are not moving anywhere. So that's a big, what we're doing. We're just throwing a fake, making him think about us, but we're just recovering back to where we are. He can drive and fake pass all day, and you'll get a lot of O's because our guys are going to run you. Okay? So that's important. So we work on our footwork. We work on doing that, and it's very, very important. We do that every day. All right? Guys, I need you to, all right. You guys play football? Like football? So we do pass rush drills. Like an offensive tackle. So come here, you're the biggest guy here, right? I want you to face here. Okay? I want you to put your left foot back a little bit. Good. I want you to get in a good defensive stance. So sit down. Good. All right? Now I want you to kick back like an offensive lineman, like this. Good. Now it looks like he's playing football, right? Big boy looks like he's playing football. I want you to come here. Now, in our conditioning drills, we can only use the basketball for 4 hours a week right now. So the other 4, we can't use the basketball. So we use the football. Okay? So turn around. So we have him come here. And we have a quarterback stand here. And you have to rush outside of him, like you're a defensive end. Ready? Go! No hands though. Good. Now stop. Now why is that important? Because what we try to do on defense is to make everybody shoot a pull-up 2. That is the goal, the number 1 rule, to shoot a 2 off the dribble. So we don't teach our guys, go ahead, drop, to beat him here. We are giving something so we can keep him in front. So he drives and I'm giving some. If he wants to pull up, I'm contesting that. You can have that all day if you play my teams, all right? Anybody who's going to play me or whatever, you can have that all day. We will take a contested 2 on a jump shot all day. I don't think I'm playing Chris Paul. I don't think I'm playing Kawhi Leonard. I don't think I'm playing LeBron James. If somebody wants to get 30 a night on 15 jump shots, they deserve it. But we're probably going to win more games than we're going to lose, as long as we don't give up catch and shoot threes and blow-bys. So when you do this and you have slow foot speed, and they get around you, you get a lot of opening the gate, a lot of fouling, a lot of help. I don't want to help. We start out teaching our defense by guarding one-on-one. We don't start by doing shell drill and teaching help. Because when you teach help, you get guys too comfortable on relying on help. So we teach help last, okay? So we do pass rush drills. The last drill we do is inches. Everybody face me. So everybody go out here. Everybody face me. Everybody get in the defensive stance. So the defensive stance. So you're gonna mirror everything that I do. So what I do, you do. All right, everybody. Hand, good. Hand back, slide, up. Hand back, slide. All right, stop. Why do you think that we do that? Reaction time, good. Anybody, why do you think we do that? Yeah, yes. So, referees. So when we play our first game November 11th, they're gonna call 30 fouls, right? When you play your first game, refs are calling everything. In the playoffs, it's like the octagons. They're not calling anything. And so we have to teach our guys when we're guarding to measure, right? Not to play with a forearm, to measure, and then show to the ref to pull our hands. Also, when guys drive, come drive on me, and I stop them, now stop. How do you recover? A lot of guys will do what? A lot of kids will do what? They'll just run at it. And that's when you get guys who get the second drop. So guys have to be able, especially if you press. So flip it around, you're going this way. Come here. All right? So let's just say that's their basket. He goes, stop. I'm here. We have to inch our way back and then the So that's a big thing because we do guard in full court. So guys cannot run at guys that are just standing there and then get blown by them. You can't have any blow-bys. We call them old shits. Okay? All right. How do we build our defense now? So we go through, I went through every single game we played last year, you know I didn't coach, and said what are the top 3 to 5 actions that we see in college that we gotta guard? Because that's how we have to build out the defense. We play man to man. So what actions do you think we see? Top 5 action. What type of pick and roll? We gotta split it up. Side pick and roll is 1. Mid pick and roll is 2. Dribble handoff is 3. Okay. Back doors you're thinking, but no. Not. Yet stagger screens is 4. Stagger screens in particular. And then the last one is a slot drop. Stagger screen. Last one's a slot drop. So everything we do in our base defense is how to guard them. Right? Now I hate the Princeton offense. You just seen it from my brother. Teach the Princeton offense, right? I hate the Princeton. But is there somebody in your league or in your division that might run that? Yeah. So how do you guard that? Well, to be a good defensive coach, you have to be a very versatile offensive coach. So my teams will never run the Princeton on offense. But I can teach it, not as well as he can, but I can teach the Princeton offense. Because when you're going through actions and what they're trying to do, you have to understand how the offense is trying to attack. You can't say, oh, we're playing Hotchkiss. They run the Princeton. You got to watch out for back doors. No, you have to understand what point over, what point away is, what ollies are, what pause behinds, you call them bams. You have to understand what they're trying to get out of it and how you can figure out how to guard them. So you're not going to teach your team the Princeton offense, but you can make them understand, well, when he comes over the top, we're going to high-low the split cut, or we're constantly going to chase them. You have to have a plan to do that. But if you don't understand that, you're going to get lost, you're going to get backdoored, you're going to get handed off to death. Okay? So we have to figure out how we guard those things. We have base ways to guard. Guard to guard, dribble handoff, we got it. Kind of like to stay on our matchup. Middle ball screen, we weaken. So I don't care where the ball screen is coming from. If it's in the middle, we're pushing it to the left. So we are 2 on the ball and pushing it to the left. Side pick and roll, depending on where it comes from. If the screen comes from underneath, we ice it. If the screen comes from above, then we hedge it. I know hard heads, we flat heads. Okay? And slot drives, we don't help from the strong side corner, we help from the low man. And how much help we give from the low man depends on how thirsty the offensive players are. And everybody plays thirsty offensive players. What are thirsty offensive players? Guys who don't pass that shit. All right? Who's the thirstiest player? Oh shit, you? Who's the thirstiest player in the team? Who's thirsty? You? Thirsty. Thirsty. So what do you do when you play really good players? Because every night you're going to play somebody who scores 20, or scores 15, or scores 25, right? So, had a coach against this guy here, right? So, very thirsty young man, all right? Scored like 20 points a game at Brooklyn College. How do you guard a guy like that, right? So, guys like that are special. They get SINS defense, SINS, S-I-N-S. That is an acronym. That stands for shit is not sweet, okay? That's what they get. They get SINS defense. So, how do we determine how we guard guys that are special? All right, come out here, thirsty man. What's your name? What's up? Sincere. Sincere is about to get SINS defense. Wow. I think I could have played that a little better, okay? So we're guarding Sincere. Sincere scores 25 a night. Sincere shoots 40% from 3, and he takes 7 attempts a game from 3. He does everything, okay? If he doesn't score, we win the game. So he's not getting regular dribble handoff defense, because if we dribble handoff for him and we go under that, he's shooting that. So he has to get SINS defense. So how do we determine? Number one, how thirsty is he? He averages 1 assist a game. He's very thirsty. He's not passive. So what does that mean? When he has the ball, somebody throw me the ball, please. Thank you very much. It's not your job, you hustle. I appreciate it. Your backs too, all right? He's in the slot. This is an exception, okay? I'm the low man. My man is here. We know the guy guarding him is forcing him here. I'm out here. Because if he drives, I beg you, please go ahead and pass that over. I dare you to pass it. I'm standing right here. Or come shoot over both. If I'm guarding a guy in the corner and he SINS defense, I just told everybody we don't help in the corner, right? Well, now we have to understand something. Is he more of a threat or is he more of a threat? Well, if he shoots 35, 36% from 3, he's still more of a threat. So we still stay. But if it's a 20% shooter, I'm standing right here. Go, I dare you to pass him the ball. He's thirsty. He doesn't want to pass the ball. Okay? Now, if he's not as thirsty, right? I'm a big fan of WNBA. Chelsea Gray, baller, right? So they gave her SINS defense in game 3. The first game, I was at the game 3 in Connecticut. Okay? They doubled her every time she came off anything. You know what she did? She passed the ball every single time. She didn't force anything. She passed the ball. They doubled her less in the clinching game, but she still passed the ball every time she seemed to. So you know he's not going to pass. So he's not allowed to shoot threes. We got to crowd him, and we got to get the earliest of help. If he's going to beat us, he's got to get 25 assists in that game. He gets no points. He gets no transition anything. We deny him off the ball. He gets SINS defense. What if he's a shooter? What if he's just a guy that is a shooter? How do you guys determine shooters? What do you think is important? What makes a shooter? What makes a shooter? What makes him a shooter? Consistency, but let's talk numbers. So, is it a lot of three-point attempts? Yes. If he shoots 20% from 3, but he gets a lot of three-point attempts up, he is a shooter. So, if he takes 8 three-point attempts a game, and he only makes 1.5 a game, he's a shooter. You know why? Because he thinks he's a shooter, and the one time you play him, what's going to happen? 6 for 9. Because all average is a mathematical equation. It's not an expectation of their performance. Somebody who averages 15 is capable of getting 35. Somebody who averages 5 is capable of getting 12. So he's 1 for 5, or 1.5 for 8 against everybody else. But when he plays me, we say he can't shoot, he goes 6 for 9, and then you lose the game. So a lot of three-point attempts. Also a high percentage, okay? But not on low attempts. So if you take 1 attempt a game and you shoot 50%, you're not a shooter. You're a sometimes. You shoot the wide open ones, I'm not treating you like a shooter, okay? And your shot profile. So if your shot profile is you take 60% or more of your shots from the three-point line, I don't care what your percentage is. You're a shooter. You get treated like a shooter. And then the last thing we do to kind of differentiate it, how many free throw attempts do you get? Okay? So Mr. McLean over there was the triple threat, mid-range, deep from 3, got to the line. Those are the toughest guys to guard. Because if you can run shooters off the line and they don't take free throw attempts, they're never making it into the paint. So you run them off the line every single time. When you play guys that can shoot and get to the line, it's a dangerous combination to face. Those are the toughest guys. Whether or not they have handle or not, those are the toughest guys to guard, okay? And another thing we try to figure out when we're guarding Sins players, how can we play 5-on-4? How can we play 5-on-4? So basically, just give me 5 guys out here on offense. That's fine. You got the ball, thirsty man. All right. One guy get over. One guy get over. Just go around the perimeter. Doesn't matter. All right. Everybody's a great player. All right. Everybody's a great player, especially at our level. Everybody, even if they average 5 in college, they average 20 in high school. So everybody can score. They just have a role. But this man right here takes 2 attempts a game. He's only taking, we're in the 25th game of the season, he's only taking 3 3-point attempts, right? He does not want to shoot it from 3. Okay. He is very thirsty, he's very good, we need to stop him. Well, guess what we're doing? Come here. We're taking our big, we're putting it on him. I don't care if he's a guard, I don't care if he's a forward, I don't care what he is. He's the guy that we've determined we're not guarding today. Okay? You're going to stay in the paint. So what does that allow us to do? Well, it puts a small on a big, right? But it doesn't matter because he stays in the paint the whole entire time. He can have whatever shot he wants the entire game. If he wants to beat us by scoring 20 and he never scored more than 8 in a game, God bless him. I'm not losing to him. Okay? And what does that make us do off the ball? Give the ball up. I'm guarding him, go screen away or something. I can now deny him fully because I'm not worried about him going back door because he's standing right there. It's my biggest guy. So we always start our defensive matchups by who's guarding the best player and then who can we put our big guy on. We don't necessarily put our big guy on the big guy. We might put our big guy on a perimeter player that can't shoot. And in high school, you have a ton of those kids that can't shoot, right? So instead of going zone or you can still stay in your man-to-man principles, but have your big man stay close to the rim. So I think that's important. All right. And the last thing I'll just go over real quick before I just answer any questions, I'm definitely ending when this goes off, is baseline out of bounds defense. This is what we scout. Somebody take the ball out real quick. So it all starts with this. You can do whatever you want. You can switch, you can do whatever, but it all starts with this. It starts with watch what the inbounder does the first time he takes it out. Or if you have film, watch what they do when they take the ball out. If you come watch us play this year, I guarantee you we will either deflect this pass or we will steal the pass in the game that you want. You know why? Because most guys, number one, when they take it out, what's the first thing everybody does? It's a waste of time. That's the second. It's a waste of time. Okay? The first thing everybody should do here, you get the ball, ref hands me the ball, is pass fake. Just keep the defense on their toes. Okay? But a lot of kids, especially when they're tired, especially in high school, they stand like this. Kids are like this. And then as soon as they put 2 hands on the ball, what are they about to do? Pass it. So put your hands up where they're about to pass it. There's not a lot of guys that are disciplined to do that. So we scout that. We know when we're going to steal it in the game. We know that in shoot-around. Another thing that we scout is where they're trying to get the ball into. Okay, we played Baruch, John Alisi. I used to work for him. Tremendous coach. Most of their plays are run to get the ball here. So when we played them and we had somebody on the ball, we literally put him, we put him right here, facing the ball. You may say, coach, but they may get that. Well, the only plays that they run, they're trying to get it there or the ball goes out. They hardly ever get it here. So we put it there, and we blew that up, and we had somebody on the ball, okay? When I scout taking it out on offense, when we're on offense, I would look to see where their feet are. Are they square? Are they forcing outside? Or are they forcing inside? Square is you're not doing anything. You're not, unless you have somebody who's 6 feet. Here. You're not doing anything in the square. You gotta make a determination as a coach. You have your kids here, or you have your kids here. I believe that square is nothing. Because you still give that up, and you still give that up. All right? And then who do you put on the ball? Depending on how small, when I played in college, my first couple of games, the one man takes the ball out. Who has the one man take the ball out? Right? Nobody? One man take the ball out. We don't even know why, right? But usually, oh, that's our best passer. It's not a lot of great passes to be made here. Usually your one man is your smallest guy. I'm telling you, when I took it out of college, come stand here, I was pissing myself. And you play in the gym like this, I can't move. This was very difficult for me. I went to my coach, Coach Unplugged, he's a legend. I said, Coach, I don't feel comfortable. I know I'm a good passer, but I don't feel comfortable. He took me out. I was on the floor, right? So you got to have your best inbounder take the ball out. And if you can, not have your point guard. Especially if you can run something to get it in and run something second. Now you got your best creator off the floor, okay? So if you have a small guy here, and we scout that, all right? And you have somebody 5'9" or under, now we're changing our defense and we're putting our biggest guy here. So we're gonna make it as tough as possible. So we may get beat back here, but he can't see him. So it doesn't matter. It's the same thing that goes for pick and roll decisions. Little guys pick and roll decisions, unless you're Chris Paul, have to make their decision above the free throw line. Have to. Little guys can't get in here and see all this. They can't see it. But bigger guys can go deeper into the paint and make decisions. All right? So I know I went on a lot of different things. They talk about defense. Everybody talks about heart, hustle, all that stuff. Get it? That's cute. But you have to be prepared. You have to know what you're guarding, and you have to have a defense for oh shit, right? And we chart oh shit in our program. Oh shit's are blow-bys, oh shit's are misassignments. So if you're causing, like your man might have had 8, but you caused somebody else's man to have 20, because you just can't guard somebody who's forced to help. So I got 1 minute and 14 seconds. Does anybody have any questions or something I can cover? Anything? The only request that I have is everybody give me a standing ovation to make me feel good about myself on mental health.
Hey, Coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe and like. Go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.